second hour of the show. I'll remind you when I'm right. I'll remind you when I'm wrong. I think you all owe me an apology. I'll get into it later. So when Andy Dalton came to the Dallas Cowboys, I said he'll be the best backup in the league. He's a great backup. And you can start him occasionally and win games. And I said the gap between him and Dak, and not very big. That was met with outrage. And I came out and I said, let's go to their first 4 years when both Dalton and Dak had good offensive lines and good support. And when I threw up the numbers, I won't read them all for our radio audience, but you can see them here on the screen. They're virtually identical quarterbacks. I mean, they're now it should be noted, Dalton played in a more run-centric league, Dak in a little pass-happy league, so Dak's completion percentage higher. Same guy. And I've always said, Dalton throws a better ball, Dak's a better athlete. And I like Dak more than Dalton, but it ain't that big. So Dalton comes to Dallas. Now, this has been a weird year. No preseason. This has been hard for rookies, for free agents. It's not really fair to judge anybody in September and October, right? We've said this about the draft. I mean, there was no games. So, and also the Cowboys had a new staff. Andy Dalton got a concussion. Then there was COVID. So I don't think it's really fair to judge Andy Dalton early in the year. Even though Dak went 1-3 to start, in the fifth game, they're playing the Giants. Dak gets hurt. Dalton comes in, and if you recall, led them to a win. So for a week, you were like, Colin, I hate to admit it, you're kind of right. But then it unraveled. Then concussion for Dalton. He got COVID. The Cowboys went to backups on backups. Then they had a bye in week 10. And I think that's fair to say. It was 10 straight practices. The chaos ended. I mean, there was at one point, we didn't even know. We thought the team was bailing on their defensive coordinator. That was a big narrative on this show and every network. It's like the players are quitting. But then they had the bye, and byes generally, everybody gathers around. 10 straight practices. It's like a little bit of a preseason without a preseason. Andy Dalton since then, since the bye, 6 games, 4-2, 67% completion percentage, 13 TDs, 4 picks, passer rating of 102. Oh, my friends, that's Dak. Let me ask you right now, if the Cowboys win Sunday, 7-9, they're a playoff team. Dak started 1-3 and was trailing. If he would have played no Dalton, just sitting on the bench, Andy playing Dak, what do you think, they're 8-8? I mean, they ain't 12-4. They're not 11-5. You watch their defense. Dalton's the better pure passer. Dak's the better athlete. And here's why it's important. Because if the Dallas Cowboys offered Andy Dalton a $37 million contract, they would lose fans. Jerry would need to sell the team. It would be an outrageous proposition. That's what Dak wants. It's not that I don't like Dak. If you paid Dalton more than $18 million a year, it would be widely criticized by everybody. Dak wants over double that. And he's not twice the player. That is the Dak dilemma. I'm not anti-Dak. I'm anti what Dak wants for what Dak is. Last 6 games for Dak Prescott and Andy Dalton. Go to their last 6 games. They have identical records. They both complete about 67, 68. The TD to interceptions, both 13 TDs, 4 picks. The passer ratings, Dak slightly higher, but Dalton's won another game. I like Dak more. Dak is better. Dak's a better athlete. And in 2020, I think Dak feels like the NFL more than Andy Dalton. But if Dak didn't get hurt, wouldn't Dallas be a 9-7 team winning the division instead of a 7-9 team potentially Sunday winning the division? I've never been anti-Dak. I've always said the gap between Dak and Dalton, and Dak's better, is not massive. It's not. They both need a good offensive line and weapons to win games. They always say there's trucks and there's trailers. Bucky Brooks always says that. Neither one is a truck pulling their team. They're both trailers. They get kind of pulled by their team and can win if they've got the right pieces. But it's interesting this morning, when you look at Andy Dalton post-bye, he is what he was his first 4 or 5 years, a less mobile version of Dak. But you'd pay him $17 million. Dak wants $37. That is the dilemma in Dallas. It's not that anybody hates Dak, but he's not worth twice of Dalton, I don't believe, going forward. Oh, well, looky.